Hi, I'm Sebrina Brown, founder and CEO of Girlfriends Tea, where we offer magnificent luxury tea with your enjoyment in mind. Girlfriends Tea ranks within the top 5% globally of luxury teas. You can visit us at girlfriendstea.com and click on Shop Now, where you receive delicious flavors such as Uniquely Golden, Unapologetically Berry, The Other Bourbon, and the ever-popular Belle of the Ball. Because ladies, we are all the belle of the ball. I invite you to try a sample pack if you're visiting for the first time so that you can try all of the flavors. Thank you for joining me for a cup of tea. Well. Good morning for some, good afternoon, and good evening for others. Welcome to another episode of Girlfriends Tea. And I'm bringing in a wonderful girlfriend who truly is a girlfriend of mine. Come on in the room, Chasity Pritchett. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Sebrina?
I am doing fabulous. We've been having chitter chatter backstage, y'all, before we went live with this interview. But I am here with the founder and CEO of Emblem Olive Oil. And I'm going to tell you just a little bit about her before we get into this interview. Well, she is the owner and founder of Emblem Olive Oil, as I stated, which is an extra virgin and infused olive oil company. Emblem Olive Oil is a proud member of the North American Olive Oil Association and has the distinction of being the first Black female-owned extra virgin and infused olive oil company in the world. Get that, y'all. You go, Chasity. Chasity graduated from Tuskegee University with a BA in political science and continued her education, earning an MBA from Strayer University. Now, Chasity, political science and what you're doing now. I mean, can you imagine? Did you ever fathom that you would be doing what you're doing now?
No, not at all. I wanted to be an attorney about helping people, but it kind of works in, I'm still helping people, but just not in the courtroom. So, yeah.
That is amazing. So, I mean, we all are asked the same question. I mean, I am not brand new to entrepreneurship, but I'm very new to it. So, what drew you to it? I mean, was it always your path?
It has always been my path. I enjoy strategizing and coming up with solutions and just seeing I enjoy like processes. So my first business was I was a fashion stylist and I would style for Christian videos and I would organize people closets and shop for them. So that was my first business. And then I got into the shoe business and I designed shoes. So I have always been down the path of entrepreneurship.
Now I'm done because I didn't know about this designing shoes. And we just saw that bottled wine, shoe wine on the table. I had no idea that you design shoes, Chasity. You are a multifaceted woman.
Thank you.
I mean, that is amazing. So was Emblem Oil your first introduction? I mean, of course it wasn't. I mean, as far as being serious about being in business for yourself.
Yes, for sure. I starting out in business, you never really know what you're doing until you really get going and get started. So I just had an idea and I knew that I was a hard worker and I could see it through. And I just did it, not knowing that people were really going to buy olive oil, my olive oil. And so that first day I launched, I end up selling out. I was just amazed. And so that was the start of it. I was thinking like, oh wow, I have something here. Let me keep going.
That's right. I mean, it's like divine appointment, you know? It was a divine appointment for you. God had already set it up for you.
Yes, yes, Sabrina. And when you have that a divine appointment, it's important to be in alignment with God and follow his direction. And he will definitely lead you, no matter what you don't have, no matter what you have, he's able to take that and multiply that times 10.
And we love his multiplication because there's nothing like God's multiplication. So
Yeah.
that everyone would know what is the mission of Emblem Oil?
Yeah, our mission is to promote the health benefits of olive oil and also share the exquisite flavor of a U.S. olive oil to diverse populations.
Now that's important, diverse populations.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, what would be the target for that?
Yeah, the target, one of my targets is for African Americans who are suffering with chronic illnesses, and they just don't know what to do. They don't know how to get out of obesity or high blood pressure. And when we teach people in my company how to change your diet and the benefits of cooking with olive oil.
You know, my mom, she's deceased now. Both of my parents, both of them had health issues. She
Mhm.
had high blood pressure, and she would just, I mean, some of the saltiest items, which would be always a lot of grease. So
Yeah.
I tried to get away from that. I finally got her onto the air fryer,
Oh,
and she
good.
loved it. But that was later when her health problems had already, pretty much taken over as far as heart issues. So it's very important that we start young, of course, with those target. But let's talk about what makes your oil, Emblem Olive Oil, unique.
Yeah. Well, number one, I always wanted to have a quality and trusted olive oil. So my olive oil is one source. It's sourced here in the US. I talk to my farmers almost every day, making sure that I'm providing my customers with the best and the most premium olive oil. And then another thing that's another point is that we infuse our olive oil with fresh flavors and fresh ingredients. I knew that, I like variety in the kitchen. And so I wanted to give women who are mostly my clientele the opportunity to feel excited to go in the kitchen and cook. And these flavors that I infuse the olive oil with, it just gets people excited and want to cook healthier meals.
Well, speaking of flavors, I know we both have our tea, but I have some olive oil as well. But I'm drinking flavor today. I'm drinking Uniquely Golden, everyone. In case you don't know, Girlfriend's Tea also has our own luxury tea line. So I'm drinking Uniquely Golden, which has ginger and turmeric root and carrots and beets and more. So,
Yes.
hey, I just want to thank you for joining me for a cup of tea. I want them to know that
Yeah.
we're drinking tea.
And I have my girlfriend's tea right here, drinking it as well.
I love your mug. You know I have one, right? You know I have that. So thank you for sharing that mug with the audience. We're girlfriends and we look out for each other and we toast one another. But I do have a video. I won't play it all for everyone, but I want to play a clip of it. It's of you in the kitchen with a chef. And I've experienced you in the kitchen and you're doing some great things with that olive oil. And we'll talk about that. Here we
Yeah.
go.
Mhm.
Favorite vegetables of all time. That's right, you guessed it. Brussels sprouts. So we are getting ready to drizzle our Emblem olive oil in Brussels sprouts. So Chef Cam, take it away.
Okay, guys, I really enjoy using Brussels sprouts because they have so many nutritional benefits that people don't know about. So Brussels sprouts is one thing that we call superfoods. And superfoods are things that give us natural human superpowers. So superpowers, things like vitamin K, things like antioxidants that help increase skin texture, hair texture. We also have things that are in Brussels sprouts that help us get brain retention. So if you are in school working from home, and you're just a little bit lethargic because we've all been in the house for so long, you can eat Brussels sprouts and it'll help you retain some of your thoughts.
Oh, wow.
So what I'm doing right now is just using a basic Cajun seasoning just to toss on there, and it'll just give us a little bit of flavor so we can add a little party to the Brussels sprouts.
Okay.
So we have a little bit of cumin, a little bit of sea salt, a little bit of crushed red pepper, and a little bit of smoked paprika.
Oh, yeah.
So those are really easy, and we're just going to want to give it a toss. I want to start off with the Emblem roasted garlic olive oil because this is my favorite. I mean, out of all of the olive oils you have, which are exquisite. I mean, if I have to tell you guys that these olive oils are exquisite, they really are. Check the website, Emblem Oil.
I love them. EmblemOil.com. Check the website. But you know what I love about Chef's? I mean, he made Brussels sprouts sound good. I mean, they make everything sound good. The brain food and the way they just talk about the ingredients, the cumin and everything else. I love those who know how to cook. I'm not a chef in the kitchen. I know how to cook what I like, which is a limited supply. But I mean, just getting into the kitchen and trying your oils with different flavors. Of course, I have the herbs, de Provence. I'm trying to show the front of it. Here we go. I have that.
Yeah.
That's good. And I've seen you prepare, you and another chef, prepare shrimp, seafood with the spicy Cajun. And it was so good. And it didn't require much. And it's better. Let's talk about that. Olive oil over butter. I mean, I didn't know. I wouldn't have known there wasn't some butter in it.
Yeah, I always promote and say this: replace your butter with olive oil. Butter is a saturated fat. It's going to give you that cholesterol. And going back to what Chef Cam said about the Brussels sprouts, that's everything about the olive oil. Your vitamin K, your antioxidants that help fight against viruses, that helps lower your cholesterol. The vitamin K, it works with your skin. Olive oil has all of that combined in just the oil itself. And so cooking with olive oil, it promotes health. It's all about healthier eating. So that's what I always like to encourage and promote as well.
Speaking of health, I mean, I know you've got so many though, because you're a great cook from what I've seen and what I understand, but what are some of the dishes you like preparing with your olive oil?
Yeah, Sebrina, I love cooking. I do. And I love cooking with my olive oil. So I can just name so many dishes, but I love Taco Tuesday. My spicy Cajun goes well with those tacos. I love making pancakes with my extra virgin olive oil because it gives it that crispy edge around, your pancakes. So there are so many dishes that I enjoy making with olive oil. And even if, olive oil is not required in a dish, I still pour in my extra virgin olive oil because 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil will reduce your chances of having heart disease. So any way you can get olive oil in your diet, if it's in a smoothie, even in your tea, you do that daily.
Tea. I would have never thought of that.
Coffee, smoothies. Yes.
Whoa. Well, I want everybody to know that we're talking to quite an accomplished entrepreneur in my eyes. I mean, you're electric. You're just so pleasant.
Oh, thank
and
you.
you're so, how can I say this? You're so committed to your mission and what you do. And I love your presentation and how you represent your brand. So speaking of that, you've won several pitch competitions, namely the New Voices and Target Accelerators pitch, as well as a Barefoot Wine grant recipient. So what advice do you have for those entering pitch competitions?
The number one is just be prepared. Make sure you answer every question that may be in the matrix that the judges are looking for. Just be prepared, be authentic. And that's, just some of the things that I do to prepare myself before. I mean, by the time I get to pitch, I memorize, I know my entire pitch before I get in front of the judges. And I just rehearse with other people who are not in your industry, rehearse with people who are not friends and family, but get advice from other people who may be like, oh, well, that sounds kind of confusing, or you can switch that out, just to help you, along the way.
Now that is important. I like that you said you rehearse it.
Yeah.
You rehearse it so that you know it. And that's so important because it's so easy to get a brain fog. And if you've rehearsed it, it's like a song. You know it and you know your product. And it gives you the opportunity to add those things like inflections and everything else. But I do want to say that you've grown your company from a side business. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what you were doing before Emblem, how that came about, how God spoke to you, and of course, where you are now.
Yeah. Well, my career has been in human resources. And I always say, I'm gonna work my full-time job and work my olive oil company. I want these benefits, I want the retirement. And God had other plans for me. So you know, I was given 100% to the HR job, but also 100% to Emblem Olive Oil. And I believe in a year ago, I was laid off from my HR job. And I realized, that was God saying, this is what I have you to do. I'm going to take you out of the job because you're not going to leave and you're not going to get fired. So I'm just going to lay you off, Chasity. and I just had to trust in him. And now I'm full time and work my business almost 24/7. But I enjoy, love what I do every morning. I am so thankful that I get up and I'm ready to sell olive oil. So it's good.
And I can say that about you, that you're ready to sell, but you've had some recent accomplishments. Your oil is being used by a celebrity chef that I know of. Would you like to share about that?
Yes.
Okay.
Tabitha Brown uses Emblem olive oil. So I was really excited to see her use the product, not one time, but so many times I can't even count. And so I'm really thankful that people are enjoying the olive oils and they really want to cook with them and enjoy cooking with them as well.
Now, we can find your olive oil at emblemoil.com, but
Yes.
also you're on Amazon. So you want to talk about Amazon Choice, being an Amazon Choice product?
Yeah, I launched on Amazon maybe 3 years ago when I just started my business. I had no plans of being on Amazon, but just within the last year or so, I have become Amazon choice for olive oil. We have grown so much on Amazon. That's why I always encourage business owners who have products to get on Amazon, because there's an opportunity for a whole nother world to see your product and to use your product. So I have enjoyed working with Amazon, and so it's a great collaboration.
And I love how you collaborate with your customers. You go live and you're in the kitchen doing something with your customers who really support you.
Yes, I cook. I show people how to actually use the product. So I'm cooking on Amazon or Instagram or YouTube just to let people know that this olive oil is not just for drizzling on your salad or dipping it in bread, but it is also a main source in the kitchen for frying, for sauteing. You can use the olive oil. So I like to show off, a few dishes to get people excited, because we go by the eyes and what we see. And if it looks good, then people are going to, support and buy the olive oil.
That's exactly right. And you're also involved in your community. You're vice president for the Chesapeake Utility Review Board, and you're also president of the Hampton Roads Tuskegee Alumni Club. So it's important as entrepreneurs that we be involved, period. But it's just as people that we be involved in giving back to our community. So how has that benefited you as far as being out front, not just, I wouldn't say just with Emblem, but with you overall in developing ourselves to be accustomed to meeting and greeting new people and networking?
Yeah, Sabrina, I just don't want to sit and not be able to help my community. If I see things that are going on or things that I don't like, I don't want to just talk about it. The saying, I just want to be about it. So with me being able to volunteer and give back to the community that I live in, that I'm raising my daughter in, it is so important to me. And being able to meet different people in different organizations, not just for the business, but just being a citizen and having that right to do. I enjoy all of it.
And what I want to ask is when people go onto your site and they're trying to pick out the oils based upon maybe what they're cooking or maybe it's their taste, are there any oils that you would recommend, for certain salads or anything?
Yeah. Well, a lot of my customers, and I also enjoy my fresh lemon for salads. A lot of people ask me which oil should I start off with, and I always say the roasted garlic. That is a olive oil that you can pair with anything. That's one of my top sellers, my roasted garlic olive oil. But also, surprisingly, people love the spicy Cajun. And so I was like, okay, you guys like a little heat in the kitchen. So I see people sauteing their seafood or, marinating their different meats in the spicy Cajun. But I always go back to that roasted garlic because you can't go wrong. I guarantee 100% satisfaction.
Well, you have some celebrated successes continuing not only with Amazon, I'm proud of you for that, but you also have some distributors, and one of them is more recent. So let's talk about those distributors.
Yeah, I have lunched in the Gaylord Hotel in Social Harbor. Is the restaurant inside of the hotel. They are cooking with the olive oil, and so I'm just so thankful for that. I'm getting ready to. I'm also in the Chrysler Museum. That's new. So my local customers here in Virginia can go inside of the gift shop and grab you a bottle of Emblem olive oil. And Sebrina, every day is something new that is happening. And I get asked those questions, and I'm like, did I forget something? Also, Kroger.com. If you order groceries online, go ahead and order Emblem olive oil online. Yeah, I think that's it.
Amazing, amazing. For those interested or probably embarking upon their business with a manufacturer, what tips do you have? Any tips or advice on searching for a manufacturer? I know yours was based upon obviously one family and the quality, superb quality, but what practical tips do you have for anyone searching for a manufacturer, if any?
Yeah. I always say this, like if another product is on the shelves, maybe not like yours, but if they have sauces, then look on the back, pick up your competitor and look on the back, and you will see manufactured by so and so. Reach out to that manufacturer to have and talk about, having your product with them as well. A lot of times you have a quantity that you have to fulfill within that manufacturer, so you really have to be prepared to move to a manufacturer. But the possibilities are, if I did it not knowing anything, then I know anybody can make this happen. And so that's one way that I always say, look on the bottles of your competition and call that manufacturer. You never know what can happen.
You never know. I mean, we all have, pitfalls or lessons learned. So I would say, do you have one or two lessons learned that you would like to share about being in business, period? It may not be with your oil, it may be with licensing or just, something that you wish you knew when you first started.
Wow. Let's see. I would say take my personal feelings out of the business. The things that I like to see, that doesn't mean my customers want to see it. Or the things that I'm into, that doesn't mean my customers are into it, So I had to sit back and take my own things that I like and really focus in on that customer and the customer for Emblem. You said one. So the second thing that I would probably do is, trying to think.
I mean, it's okay because that one was good because I remember we talked about that when you say the truffle oil.
Yeah,
Because I mean, I get it. You really wanted that and you were in on it and you said, well, you found out that, that was something you wanted.
Right. Yeah. And you know what? Another thing that I would say is it's okay to say no as an entrepreneur. You don't have to go everywhere. You don't have to be on everybody's podcast. If it's not going to take you to your goal or your from 5 years from now or 3 years, then it's okay to say no, because you have to be focused on where you want to take your business. And time is something that you don't get back. Time is very important. And those people that you said no to, you can go back to them and say, hey, I'm ready now in my business to be able to speak and talk. And, so sometimes you just have to really think business and not personal.
Absolutely. Well, you have the distinction of being the first Black female-owned extra virgin infused olive oil company in the world. Did y'all hear me? Did y'all hear me? Because this show is global. In the world. So as a result of being the first Black or even female-owned company, did you experience any hurdles that you could identify with for that?
Any hurdles, I break through. I don't even recognize. I just keep pushing. But I know people, I was looking for brokers. The brokers are the individuals who go out and sell your olive oil to different grocery stores. And so I was trying to interview brokers, but on the end, it seemed like they were interviewing me. And they were like, well, did you acquire your company? And I'm like, no, this is my own olive oil company. So, just breaking that stigma, especially when they haven't seen a African-American female in the industry. So I'm always prepared. I walk in a room like I've been in olive oil for 30 plus years. So no one, it's always, I always have to, know my stuff and look,
Right.
make sure I'm looking and presenting myself well. And yeah, so that's pretty much it.
Well, you carry it very well. You're beautiful, you're radiant, you come with God's love. So we're gonna close out this interview, but just talking about the goodness of God and how He's opened those doors for you. And even
Yeah.
when you're speaking, when you share that you won a recent pitch contest, when you shared that, I mean, you glorify God.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just like to hear about your relationship with God and how he is at the forefront.
Oh man, Sebrina, I love God. Me and him we got a serious relationship over here. I just always want to acknowledge him. I never want to take God out of what he has done and what he's doing in my business. So I always give him the glory. I started my business with maybe $239. So God is able to turn that $239 to a six-figure business. And it only takes a little bit of what you have in order for God to move. So I trust in him. I pray daily. I ask him to order my steps. And he is really the center of my life and the center of my business. I'm not ashamed to talk about my faith. Even when you pick up my bottle, you will see that, oh, okay, she is a follower of Christ. And
Yes.
that's how I carry my business. And we're going to see all the goodness and all the mercies that he's getting ready to do with Emblem Olive Oil.
Amen to that. You definitely see the light of Christ within you. This has been a privilege to be here with you, but I want to let everyone know how I met her, Chasity, how I got introduced to her. She was in my group, Girlfriends Tea with Sebrina. I didn't even know it because she's so quiet. She's not really quiet, but she's quiet. She's kind of laid back. And then when you meet her, here comes this burst of energy, like a starburst, right? This burst of flavor. And I met someone, Trina, and
Yeah.
you all used to be college mates, I think, right?
Yeah.
And so Trina was like, Chasity, I don't know how she saw your name or said she knew you.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And then I looked you up and found out you were already in the group. And then I had heard about Emblem Olive Oil. Everybody was talking about it, but I didn't know it was you. I didn't know the owner. I was just hearing about it. It's not like I went in Google to look it up.
Right.
I was like, no, she is in the group. And I had to actually get after her to do this interview. So I'm so glad that you came on. And again, I want to remind everyone of her site, emblemoil.com, emblemoil.com. They can order through your site as well as on Amazon, correct?
That's correct.
And if they want to contact you, is there a contact us on your site, or did you want to give some information?
They can send an email at info@emblemoil.com. You can also follow me on all social media platforms, Emblem Olive Oil, and send messages through your social media. And we always respond to messages. So that's those are some ways that you can contact Emblem.
So info again at
Oil.com.
info@emblemoil.com. Y'all have already seen the emblemoil.com. So just put info@emblemoil.com.
Mhm.
Chasity, I want to thank you for joining me for a cup of tea. And I always close out, because this is Girlfriend's Tea, by saying, girlfriend, girlfriend. And we are indeed girlfriends. And I am looking forward to seeing the path that God is continuing to place you on, because it's exciting just watching you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Sebrina, for all your support and what you're doing in Girlfriends Tea.
You are so very welcome, and thank you. And everyone, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram. I'm on TikTok too, so I'm just kind of playing around on TikTok. But thank you all so very much for your support of Girlfriends Tea with Sebrina. Bye now.